What's up, guys? How we doing? We are ready to film this week's episode. And shoot, echo. Let's get that off. Ready to film the podcast, guys. Just gonna let a few people get in here. How's everybody's weekend? Let us know. Been a tricky day in the market so far. Let us know if you're green, you're red. I know I had one win, one loss this morning on stream.
Is annoyed a color?
Annoyed is a perfect way to explain today.
Yeah, because I'm annoyed by today. That's my rage.
Yeah, I'm not mad that I sat out. That's what I am.
I haven't even checked. What was that news scandal? Was it, I'm guessing, Trump with Iran?
Get ready for Iranian ceasefire talks, escalation. That's going to be this week.
I'm so tired of this stuff.
Hate me another word. Annoyed.
Yeah. Well, that's our safe for work word we're going to use.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those things that it's all over the pricing today. We obviously we're going through 9 days of escalation, but this morning the US sent over a proposal for a 10-day ceasefire, and Iran said no, and then told the Houthis to shut down the other straits next to the Red Sea. And now they're in the conversation back and forth. Are they or won't they have a ceasefire and thus some degree of talks? And that is a recipe for up down nature.
Yep. Dude, it's I feel so bad saying this, but I'm just literally 100% over it, and I don't care. Trading wise, I don't care.
Oh yeah, from a human interest perspective, like I thoughts, prayers, hope for quick resolution here and to get back to living our lives. But from a market perspective, this might be the last week that the market actually cares about it.
Yeah,
I officially am right there in your camp. Like I'm like,
yeah. I haven't even heard nobody I've talked to has even mentioned it. It's just like whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we're so used to the chop over the last little bit on
that too. So, yeah.
It's frustrating, but hopefully we get a positive resolution to it.
So guys watching, we're doing it a little bit differently this time today. Rather than specific questions or whatever, we're kind of doing broad questions that people have asked. And we're going to try to kind of relate our journey more and more into it rather than talking about other people, things like that. We want to just really, get into it with the coaches and explain what we actually think and if we've been through these kind of topics before. So I'm excited for this one, guys.
Yeah, this sounds great. I'm so excited. I love talking about all the things trading. You come up with such good questions. Like people have so many good questions. So it's great that we are here to and be able to answer them. About them.
Yeah, I mean it's not just me. Sometimes I might fudge one in there, but I like to take the topics or questions they give and make them, appropriate for a 10-minute discussion. Because a lot of the questions you can just say no or yes.
Right.
All right. What do you think, guys? You want to get going? We'll kind of start and people will start trickling in.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Nick, do you want to give me a 3, 2, 1 countdown and we will just get going? What's up, traders? Welcome back to another episode of Market SkyCast, your official BluSky podcast. As always, I am your host, Justin, with our other two BluSky coaches, Matt and Becky. Now, guys, we switched it up. We've been switching it up on you. We've been going from less TA, more topics, things like that. This week, we're going to go even broader. Let the coaches kind of interpret these topics we're doing, hopefully bring in some personal stories, and then we can kind of just feed off each other and have a real discussion. But before that, how was your guys' weekend? How are you doing since the last episode?
Weekend was absolutely fantastic. Had a lot of good relaxation. Enjoyed the farmers market this Saturday, and looking forward to a choppy, volatile week. But I'm hoping to get some resolutions on some big questions this week for the market. But doing good. Excited to be here for another conversation. You know what, Justin? We talk about technicals every day in our content, and
literally
dial in the technical perspective picture every single second in the podcast. I kind of like having a little bit more higher level conversations there.
Yeah.
Becky, you had a long weekend, I heard.
Oh, dude, I got my butt kicked. I'm still, all you guys know, I'm still a part-time nurse because I like the diversification. I like having different streams and different communities that I am still a part of. And so actually I worked a lot at the hospital all day Friday and all day Sunday into the night. So yeah, I'm coming back to life this morning, a little bit slow, but it's good. It's good to be back. I'm excited for this week on the market.
Hey, I know you still traded too. That's dedication. Absolutely. And guys, before we get into it, I mentioned it last week. We have these new orbit plans that dropped 1 week, 1 day to pass. And we now have a standing sale for you guys. Code 30 off. Click the link in the bio. Sign up if you haven't. 30 off Propel and Orbit plans now. So great time to be a BluSky trader and great time to, maybe take some YOLO trades, get that account in 1 day. Now, let's go ahead and just get right into it. Oh, and Matt, I wanted to get your point of, we talk about technicals all day. It's so funny because I literally stream right before we record this podcast. And I go through my whole process, the whole everything, and then we come back. I just do it right over again. It's so funny. So I'm glad we're kind of pivoting.
And then we're gonna, and then we would do it in this, and then me and Becky would do it in Power Hour.
Yeah.
Go right into Power Hour and say the same thing 3-4 times a day. Yep, exactly. Yep. But guys, let's just hop into it. We'll kind of ask some lighthearted questions. This last one is a pretty serious topic that I really, really think I'm going to enjoy. I think you guys are going to enjoy, and I think our members are really going to enjoy it too. But let's see. The first question is, what type of, or does trading attract a certain personality? All of us have, taught people. We've talked to streamers, talked to traders all day, new, old, all these kind of things. Matt, let's start with you. What's your opinion on this one?
I think the easy answer is yes, it would attract a certain personality. And I do think when we're talking specifically regarding day trading, I do believe that that personality is more A-type, aggressive, type of a personality. But I've spent a good 20 years in this industry, not just as a trader, but as an educator. And I've had the opportunity to probably talk to a few 100,000 people about trading over my career, from India to Hong Kong to Europe to Canada to Mexico to all over the U.S. I've met too many people, too many demographics, too many different stories to realize that there's one simple truth. There is not a cookie cutter type of personality as that you would think is a trader. I've seen 75-year-old grandmothers cut it up as a day trader before, and I've seen 18-year-olds do covered calls before. I've seen way too much in this world, and to think that there's a specific personality that is designed to be attracted or better at trading than others. And it goes back to the old story between Richard Dennis and his trading partner 40 years ago when they made a bet to see who was right. Is being a trader a skill that is learned, or is it something inherently designed in you? And it was proven over 40 years ago that it was not designed in you, but it was designed for you. And so it's to me, no, I don't think there is one specific personality that is designated as a better trader or more attracted to trading. Although I do think there's certain personalities that are louder about it.
Now, I have a question for you. You mentioned a 75-year-old grandma who could cut it up. Now, obviously, we can't get specific in names, but what, in your experience, has made somebody at that stage in their life try to learn day trading?
It's more about trading, not specifically to day trading, but trading in general, swing trading, position trading, day trading, trading.
That makes more sense.
But day trading, even at day trading, yes. Because as most of the people that I've met that had wanted to learn how to trade at the late stage of their life, meaning they had never traded before, right? They literally wanted to learn how to do that. The number one reason, and I can just give you off my experience, is they want to keep their mind fresh and mind active as they go through the late stage of their life. And and being around the markets, the financial markets, being aware of all the things that go into the market, it forces your mind to be active on a day in, day out basis. And they have a lot of time to look at intraday pricing as well.
So I guess it's like a replacement for a crossword puzzle.
Little better version of the crossword puzzle.
No Sudoku here.
Yeah. Most people I meet in that stage of life want to learn or do more on the cash flow side of the equation. But listen, I've met, like I said, I've met grandmothers who want to learn how to be aggressive futures day traders.
Is it really about the money at that point from what you're
No.
seeing, or is it more just, it's just about
Not
challenging
for the most part.
themselves?
Sometimes, yes, but not for the most part. For the most part, it's they have a retirement account. They've been cash flowing on that retirement account. They use that retirement account to kind of provide for their living expenses, and they want to have something to keep their mind active on a day in and day out basis. And I totally understand it.
Very
I think
cool. Very cool.
if you age and you're really sharp, you want something. You want a new
Yeah.
challenge, and maybe your body doesn't have the stamina that maybe it once had. But if you're still sharp, there's a ton of opportunity in trading. I love it when people that are into their retirement get into trading. Like they're usually wicked smart with life experience and study psychology.
yeah.
Like there's an edge there.
Also, at that point, Becky, they probably know themselves very, very well.
That's what I'm saying.
Not some 18-year-old that has no idea what the hell is going on in between their two ears.
Patient
These
and
people have been
calm
through it all.
and not fearful.
They're more risk adverse.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I can tell you that right off the bat. Now, okay, Becky, what are your thoughts on that? Does trading, kind of attract a certain
So I think it attracts two types.
I know we've met all of them, but have you seen certain patterns in people? Okay.
I think that there is two major distinctions of people that get into trading. And I love this question because I think that there's the ones that make it and there's the ones that don't. And I think that there's a different energy that you bring to it. And there's the YOLOs, like make money quick, get rich quick scheme, like they saw it on Instagram and all this money, and they're going to do it and they're going to chase it. And those are a little more aggressive, a little less attentive, not really into like the long game mentality. Like if you think about, I want to get into med school to be a doctor, I want to learn the market and study and lose money for a couple of years and then like lock it in. They are not really the dedicated for the long term, but they're like the really just, I want to try and make money quick. And those are the ones that tend to struggle quite a bit and maybe not make it long term. But the other camp of that, the one that's actually make it, I think you have to have like a lot of courage and type A and like curious and open and more like, I don't know, open to life type. I think everyone has some risk aversion, but to some degree or another, but to be a trader and to make it through, you have to have like an open flexibility, curiosity, a little more extroverted type energy. So I think there's kind of that distinction of the ones that make it and the ones that don't. And I think trading draws in both types. But who sustains is definitely the second type of like just really in it to learn and figure it out and master it and keep showing up even though it's hard at times.
Have you noticed? Okay, so the YOLO part makes total sense. They saw some kid with a Lambo and they're like, I want that. I deserve it. Now, the other one that you said, takes the time to learn. Have you noticed, like, for example, a certain profession that people come from or anything like that or is it more of a personality type specifically?
I think there's definitely a personality element to it, but I definitely have seen and I don't know if this is just my scope, but in the communities that I've been in, there's a lot of engineers and a lot of healthcare workers. Like I've met nurses and doctors for sure. And then a lot of engineers. Like I think that is a brain articulation with like understanding the puzzle. And then I think engineers are a big part of the long game mentality of like a project can take months and months and months to get just right so that it will function in the big picture. And so I think that they're definitely, holler if there's anyone in the chat. I think that there's a lot of engineers that are drawn to trading. If I had to pick one other career that cycles into this, that's what I have seen the most.
Every single person that has ever existed is drawn to making money. And so every demographic, every personality trait, every behavioral analysis leads to the same conclusion. It's a matter of understanding what challenges do we need to overcome, what variables do we need to overcome to really kind of match those personality traits. But again, I've been in too many rooms, taught too many people to see too many demographics, and what people think of traders versus what traders really are from a demographic perspective are completely vastly different things.
Yeah, I love both those answers. And before I tell you my answer, I just want to say I do agree. I think anybody can be a trader. It doesn't matter. One of my really good friends, she sells crystals and makes candles and is into like witchcraft and all this kind of stuff. She day trades crypto all damn day and she makes great money. Never would have pinned her for that. But I kind of agree with Becky. So there's one broad set and there's two subsets of the personality or the type of people. Number one is the main character is just people that want to kind of escape the rat race. They don't want to work for anybody else. They want to work on their own schedule. They want to work on their own time. And that breaks into two separate subjects. One is the YOLO traders, the people that want to just get rich. They want to skip all the questions, like the how fast can I get my payout people, all that kind of stuff. Now, the second subset is people that are in it for the long run, but I'm going to go in a little different route. And I do agree there's a lot of engineers and a lot of accountants and things like that that get into it because they are analytical. But I think people with an entrepreneur mindset tend to really be gravitated toward trading. And I'm one of them because I own a home service business. And, you know, it's labor intensive. It takes a ton of time. You know, you get a little taste of what trading can do. What's up?
Can I challenge you on that a little bit, though? Because I do have a vastly different opinion than you two do here. In terms of the engineers, we keep coming back to engineer mindset because we think the analytical mindset is a better trading mindset than the creative mindset. I don't believe that to be necessarily true, even though I am a deep analytical. But when you talk about personality traits, there's not 2 personality traits, there's 4 personality traits with sub traits to those 4 personality traits, which means you're talking somewhere around 8 total personality traits. Every single one of them have an entrepreneurial mindset. We are born inherently designed in our DNA to be creators, to have an entrepreneurial mindset. It's just that certain personality traits get put into certain systems throughout our early learning curve, and we get stuck in certain areas. But once again, it doesn't mean they don't have a desire to learn how to trade, and it doesn't mean they're not going to be great traders when they find it. It just means that they might find it at a different stage through their life. But I don't want to come across and be like, there are specific personality traits that are destined to learn to be better traders than others.
Oh, no, you can't say that.
That goes against a lot of natural belief systems, quite frankly.
So the engineering thing is interesting. I don't agree that they're better traders or they're better suited. But I think there's a couple of reasons why they're gravitated. One, they do think they are better at analytics. And 2, they tend to have some discretionary income. So that really helps that they have the income and, you know, they think they're good at math. And there's also a lot of engineers. But I want to get back to the entrepreneur mindset.
Can I just give one of the best personality traits that I have found to be some of the best traders in my career? Stay-at-home mothers.
Oh, they are all over the Instagrams and TikToks now.
Not exactly
like watch me learn how to trade. I have 2 free hours every morning after I drop my kids off. Like, let's try that. That's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just think Richard Dennis proved this story 40 years ago between is there certain personalities that are better determined to learn how to be a trader versus others. And I just personally feel that question was answered 40 years ago. I don't think there's any demographic that is more inherently designed to be better at this game than others.
Absolutely agree. And in the chat, Dan made a good point. Many think it's for professionals only. No, it's for everybody, like we keep saying. But before we move on, I want to talk about the entrepreneurs.
Some of the worst traders are lawyers, by the way.
Why I think they do better. Because starting a business, and I mean, you guys both do it. I do it as well. I've done it. It is not easy. You got to grind for years. So entrepreneurs have been through that already. They know what to expect. They don't come in thinking they're going to make the money. They know it's going to be a process, but this is something where they can take their foot off the gas of their, business. They've hopefully scaled out by now. Don't need to be a big part of it. Take a few hours every day, move it into trading, and then make another income source and maybe step away from the business completely. So I think it's not a personality trait. It's more of a mindset, is that good things take time and you can't rush the process. But I think we all just landed on there's no damn personality that works best. As long as you put in the work, you can do it.
Well, even when you go into the entrepreneurial mindset, what percentage of the human population was born with an entrepreneurial mindset?
100.
There's 100%, right?
Yeah.
We are born as creators, and then we get stuck in a system that is designed to put us into certain things, right? I was born to a coal miner's son who eventually started a small business, which made me want to be a small business owner, ultimately an entrepreneur. And on that small business job site, my father told me to go to school. So what did I do? I went to school, get a degree, get stuck. That's the story that all of us go through. We all have that shared commonality. But before we get stuck in the system, we are born through a creation mindset, which means 100% of the population is born as a creator, is born as an entrepreneur, which means they all have it in their ability to trade as well.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And great discussion. Now, this next one's kind of a funny topic because I go through it. Everybody that day trades, or at least tells people they day trade, go through it. So it's this isn't going to be a long one, but it's just funny. I want to hear what you guys think and what people tell you. But the question is just what does your family actually think you do? And now I know we all have other things going on, but let's just talk about like the trading part of our lives. What do they think you do? Matt, let's start with you, because you have, you've probably told a lot of people what you do. Like, what do they actually think you do?
Oh, I've stopped telling.
And then second question, what do you tell people you do when you introduce yourself?
I don't tell them. I tell them I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I tell them. That's where the question becomes, oh, what does an entrepreneur do? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Let's sit down and we'll talk about it. But no, it's when my kids were younger. I remember my daughter was in a kind of like a little elementary bring your dad to school day, right? And there's I went to school and my daughter's up there trying to explain, not my daughter, but other daughters and sons were up there kind of, hey, my dad's a policeman. Hey, my dad's a doctor. Hey, my dad's like all of that. And then I could see my daughter, Kat, just sit back, just kind of tapping on her toes, like, how am I going to describe my dad? And she gets up there and she's like, well, he travels and he speaks and he sits in front of his computer and he does this and he does that. And some lady is starting to ask her a couple questions and she finally gets frustrated and she says, he just clicks buttons. And that's kind of what I do, as I click buttons.
It is what we do.
I don't describe myself as a trader. Trading is one of the things I do. I describe myself as an entrepreneur, and as most entrepreneurs go, they try to build businesses in a variety of different things, different ways, and that's how I see myself as an entrepreneur. Trading is one of the things that I do.
So if your family members, adult family members, were to tell somebody what you do, what would be their 2-sentence elevator kind of pitch of what you do?
He's an entrepreneur.
Okay, perfect. There you go. Becky, what about you? I know you just on the trading side of things, you got a lot of things going on as well, but like, how would you, what do you do in your mornings every weekday? How would you kind of explain it, or what would you tell somebody? And then what do they actually think you do?
Okay, so it depends on the person and how genuine they are in their intention to actually understand. But I will tell people that I am a trader, but that's only been recently because it took me a while to like fully embrace that
Which
personality.
Good job.
Yeah.
Embrace it, Becky.
I know I need to like fully actualize it, which I have gotten a lot better at. But then they're like, so should I invest in Nike? And I'm like, no, it's not really. Like futures trading is a different thing. So it's so hard to explain futures trading to
That's
someone.
why at some point, guys, you stop telling people you're a trader.
I don't.
100%.
I don't tell people that for that reason specifically.
Yep.
They have to really want to know for me to get into any of it with them. And then usually it fizzles out very quickly because it just starts being, they just start glazing over and it's like not even worth it. So long story short is my kids just tell everyone that I'm a YouTuber, which is insane because like the YouTube is like, you know, all the things that I do like with you guys on camera or whatever, it's such a small point. But for children, it's so exciting to them because YouTube is like the new everything on screen, right? And so for them, that's the coolest part of their whole life is that mommy goes on camera. But I'm like, no, I'm a trader. Like the trading is the heart of everything that I do in my office. But the kids don't understand it to any, like they don't know. They're like, I don't know. Sometimes she pays for trips by being in the office all the time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I was actually I think it was like one of my friends had a kid, and it was kind of the first time that all friends and parents and stuff got to meet it. So I was there. And I was talking to this guy he's a big time developer, and he was talking to my friend's wife, and he kind of came up to like, what does Justin do? And she goes, I know he like works for a finance company or something. And then I think he's like a streamer. Like, I don't know. And I'm like, dude, you're one of my best friends. You have no idea what I do. So like you, I don't tell people I day trade. My wife, she'd probably say I'm on YouTube or something like that, which by the way, children's number one answer for what they want to be when they grow up is a YouTuber now.
Oh, my kids are so excited.
Which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I used to tell people like you, Becky, I'm like, oh, I'm day trading. They're like, oh, if I give you $500, can we split the profit? Or what about this stock? Or what about this? And I'm like, dude, no.
I can tell you 100 stories, guys, of people coming up to me over years saying, oh, you're a trader, you're an investor, you're this, you're that. Oh, give me a hot tip. Give me a hot tip. And I've done it. I've given the hot tips. They played out. They never gave me a tip. And then next time they wanted a hot tip, I gave them a bad trade.
Love it. So, but anyways, nowadays I just tell people I'm in financial education or something like that. I keep it incredibly vague. and boring, so nobody even wants to talk to me about it. But the people that actually know me,
Why
I'll
do you
get
think
into
I've
it.
landed on just tell people I'm an entrepreneur? Like,
Yeah.
the questions don't flow. They're like, "What's an entrepreneur?" I'm like,
Yep.
"Yeah, when you figure that out, come back to me."
But I think we all kind of landed on the same space. And if you guys are in the chat, let us know what you tell people besides like your actual job, because it's a weird thing, and it's not socially acceptable, really. It's starting to be, but it's I don't know.
It's
just
far
strange.
more
judged.
it's far more today acceptable than it has been at any point in my career. And I think that's going to be the case moving forward, by the way. I think at some point in the future, whether it's 5-10 years from now, I think young kids growing up will be focusing on the financial world, quite frankly.
Oh, you want to hear a funny story? Actually,
Yeah.
I was talking to, because you guys know I talk to traders all day. I was talking to somebody, and he said he's been trading for 5 years, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so you're probably closer to my age than I thought you were." He goes,
they're
"I'm 19." He goes, "I'm 19."
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, my mom used to let me use her credit card," and then he talked about how messed up her taxes were, and all this was so hilarious.
Well, think about it from a generational thing. As we move further into the AI era, there's systems that have been traditional that are changing. And the old go to school to get one of those nice professions is kind of one of those things to a certain extent. And especially on certain areas of our economic system. But there's a lot of scenarios where learning how to trade and emphasizing learning how controlling your assets in the market is going to be even more important in the future than it has been in the past.
Yep. Well, imagine you learn how to trade throughout college or before college, and you do want to get a professional job. You don't have to rush to get a job. You know how to trade. You're not worried about your income. So like how everybody says, like, if you have that X amount of money in your back pocket, you can pull your middle finger out to your boss and tell him to F off. If you can trade, you can do that whenever you want. So I think everybody, like, so many people are going to learn how to do it, and I think it's
I think it's going to be much more popular moving forward in terms of younger generations than it ever has been.
Especially with, like, trading influencers is its own thing now. It's not just it's like everybody's doing it. It's wild. Now this last one, we'll end with a serious note, because I talked about it actually last week, and people really like the conversation. But the question is, have you ever almost quit trading? Start with you, Matt.
Yes. Yes. I have. Not lately, but when I first started trading,
and now, Matt, this question is not just like, oh, I had a bad day, like, I want to quit trading. This is when you sat down and, like, look yourself in the mirror.
There were 2 times specifically I thought about quit. They were both within my first 5 years. The first was about a year and a half in, and I had a lot of pressure being put on me by my family to go take the bar and officially become an attorney, because when I graduated law school, I literally told my family I was going to be a trader and not a lawyer, and they thought I lost my bloody mind. And maybe I did, but you kind of got to lose your mind every now and then to do great things. And so I just decided I wanted a different path. I wanted something different for myself. But about a year and a half into that, like, it wasn't going according to my overall vision that I had going into the scenario. And so I honestly thought about quitting at the time, and took a lot of thought in quitting. Sorry about my dog barking.
No, it's all good.
Wanted to go quit that dog here a second ago too. But yeah, I definitely did think about quitting. And if it wasn't for my mentor, who was holding my hand and letting me know that I was not unique, I was not a special little snowflake. And that's why I was so aggressive in, there's no demographic that is predisposed to be better at trading than one. Because my mentor was sitting me down, was like, you're not the only one going through this. Everybody goes through this. You're not unique. You're not different. You're the same. Everybody goes through these challenges, and you just have to learn to overcome them the same way that every other person had to learn to overcome them. And if you can't learn to overcome these challenges early on, you're not even going to want to be a trader later on. And so you need to overcome these things. And so fortunately for myself, I had an amazing mentor to walk me through those things, hold my hand, teach me along the process. And about 5 years into my career, I was going through some really, really, really kind of emotional situations with my baby girl, my daughter who was born, and I was very emotional, and I cut my account in half. I was trading on tilt, and I about quit at that point as well. And I officially did quit one area of the market from an education perspective. I was like, I'm done. I'm going back. I'm going to go take the bar and going to go do that again.
Really? How close did you get to taking the bar?
Very close. Very
Wow,
close.
okay.
Very close. And if it wasn't for another good friend of mine, Gino Poor, who sat me down and was like, okay, Matt, you're on tilt, you're emotional. Let's maybe see the market through a little bit of a different lens. And at that point, I was doing a lot of aggressive swing trading and day trading. And at that point, after 5 years, I did change. And I started doing more cash flow systems, and I started doing more position trading instead of just swing trading, started working on the long term. And at that point, everything got dialed in, and there's been ups and downs ever since then, but at no point have I considered quitting ever since then.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, I think a lot of people think that these, realizations or situations that are unique to them. But, you know this from talking to other people, and Becky and I know this after talking, hundreds and thousands of people. Everybody has almost the same damn journey. Some are just quicker, some are slower, but all of us at some point have these same pain points. So I love hammering that into the people watching. Like, if you're struggling, talk to somebody and they're going to say, yeah, duh, me too. I've been there, done that. Becky, what about you? Have you ever seriously considered quitting trading?
I definitely did. Yeah, I started with the company when I started learning trading, and they just wanted the subscription fees. They taught me enough to like want it and to be curious and to keep paying, but not enough to make any money. So I started there, and then I pivoted to another mentor who was really good, and I started like really learning, but then I still wasn't making money, and I was so frustrated, and I felt like that was the height of when I was getting judged, actually. So this loops into the first part of our conversation about who do you tell things to. So I feel like everyone at that point, I was like a year and a half into trading my journey, and I really thought by that point I would be more profitable, and I was so frustrated that I wasn't at all, and I was upside down in what I had invested, and everyone was like, well, why are you not just picking up more shifts at the hospital? Like, you're a nurse. Like, why? This seems like a hobby. Like, what are you doing? And so it was like the peak of my judgment period. And even my parents too were like, you seem super stressed. Like, I don't know why you need this. It doesn't even make sense to us, because it's not, their brains don't work this way, And so I eventually, like, I had another loss, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this stress, blah, blah, blah. I have all these kids. I had just had my third baby, who was only, to be fair, 6 months old. So I was still like postpartum. It was a hot mess of a period of my life. And so I did quit. I told everyone, I announced it to my communities and my accountability partner. I was like, I can do this. And then literally the next day, like, I couldn't get out of bed. I just like was so upset. It felt like I was mourning the loss of a dream. And I was like, I couldn't do it. By that night, I was on YouTube studying strategies and was updating my charts. And I was like, no, it turns out I can't quit. And I have to tune out all this noise. And all these people are just because it's not someone else's dream doesn't mean it's not mine. And I really wholeheartedly quit the night before. And I was so sad at the idea of losing this dream that I had come accustomed to believing in myself in. And so that day was like a huge turning point for me. And that was fall 4 years ago, almost just shy of 4 years. And after that, that winter, I got really serious. That's when I started digging into my psychology. I got deep with my mentor. I got into some books, and I started doing some actual true homework, like literally written homework on my psychology, and everything started shifting that winter and spring. And so I'm so grateful for that moment where I literally did quit, and then it lasted less than 24 hours. And I have never, ever looked back since, because I do think I had to come to the realization of no one has to understand it but me. And if my immediate family, my husband, has my back, then I get to do this and I get to pursue it. And if I lose my money, I lose my money. It's just money. Like, this has the potential. So it was a big deal for me to like work through all of that. And I'm so thankful that I did honestly try and quit, because it reframed it for me.
I absolutely love that. And you kind of stole like 80% of my story that I was just about to say.
Oh no.
But I'll go with mine. So I've told you guys before, like, I had an amazing success on my first couple swing trades, which really got me into it. And then, I was signal botting. I was making a little bit of money, losing it, whatever. Then, I started getting into like taking my own trades. This is about a year and a half in, probably where you're at. And I would just like slowly see it get down. And I think I put it was like 5 or 10 grand I put into an options account, 0 to TSPX, I'd slowly dwindle. Then I'd have that one win, boom, right back to starting balance, slowly dwindle, right back to starting balance. And I'm like, okay, I can do this, whatever. But then there's about a month period where it was just like slow bleeding $300 every day. And after about a month or 2 months, I'm like down to a couple grand. And I'm like, man, I cannot just keep doing this. Like, there's no way. And I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a hobby. Maybe I just like hop on the things that are on social media every once in a while. And I talked to my wife about it, and she's like, dude, you're not that guy. Try really hard. If you're gonna do it, put 100%, put your whole ass effort into it, not a half-ass effort. Let's do it. She was like, take a break from your business, like focus, get your stuff together, and let's just get it done. And so I actually went a different direction. I started my own community to hold myself accountable and to learn and show people my journey and bring people on my journey. And I think that was the moment when I realized I can't quit, because now I have people watching me, and I'm not helping them. They're just trading with me. But yeah, very similar story to you. And cried in the shower a couple of times, cried in front of the mirror. It is what it is. It's part of being a day trader and learn how to do it, but it can change your life. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think if you haven't cried over day trading, you just haven't done it long enough, because
Right.
it will rip your heart out. Like, there's times where you really believe, I really have believed in my trajectory and my skill and my ability, and then I've been knocked on my butt more times than I care to admit. But that was powerful to be able to take those hits and be like, I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong, because I don't like this day. And I know I've had really good days. And so there's something that changes in you when you continue to be resilient through those hard periods, and you have to change in order to make it. Like, people either stop the pain or they change. And that is how you get through, I think, to the next levels.
Love it. Love it. All right. So I think that those are some great discussions. And I want to end the podcast now doing something a little different. I want either one big win or one big loss, like psychology wise, trading wise, something about you. So I'll go first. This morning I was trading. I saw we were in a clear range. I said, we have to break these two sides to do it. I had one win and I wanted to take one more trade. I took a trade right in the middle of the range and I lost. I broke my rule and I got punished for it. So that's one bad thing that I did this week. Did any of you guys have something where you broke a rule or something where you changed
I'll go
something
next.
to make your
I did some back testing on my own execution over the last week. I did it over the weekend. And every time I tried to front run a level, my batting average was about 25 to 30%.
Yeah,
every time I waited for confirmation, I hit 3 home runs and offset all of my losses.
Exactly what I did today.
70% of my trades. And so this week, I am definitely hunting confirmation, and I'm going to try to lessen the front running mentality. And we all know what front running a day trade is, right? Like it's like you see your level and you're like, oh, let me just get slightly in front of the push. Let me just try to inch my way in front of the line a little bit. And you do it because you want to maximize return versus risk ratio and give up a little bit of probability. But last week I felt like I was giving up 40% probability to do it. And so the front running gone bad was my story last week. And so I'm going to try to fix that this week.
Especially in a choppy market like we've been in. I mean, it'll kill you almost every time. And I tried to do the same thing today. Got murdered. Becky,
I did take the short underneath 75 on the ES with confirmation. I did get it. So we can talk about it in Power Hour.
What about you, Becky?
Oh, good.
I know you've had a whirlwind of a weekend, so you probably can't even remember what you're doing.
I don't remember what I did. I think part of my issue is that I take on too much, and I think that I can maintain my stamina throughout. And I think that bites me in the ass more than I would like it to, because that is something that I want to do it all. I want to continue to do the things that I love, and I want to have my hands in different pots, and I want to keep showing up and not sacrifice anything, because I truly love trading, and I love talking to people about trading and helping people if I can. And of course I love my children, and I love being a nurse too. And so I just feel like I juggle too much. And so if I don't give myself little breaks and periods to reset and calm my nervous system down, which I talk about in my psychology lab all the time, I actually really underperform with my goals. And so for me, that's my biggest thing that I get stuck into, is like splitting myself too thin and then thinking that I can still operate at my max capacity, and then it will bite me in the butt way more often than it doesn't. And that comes out in like over trading or you know, I don't know, like breaking some little rules of like averaging in and getting a little bit too big, not in a big way, but like out a couple times last week I was in for a couple more contracts than I meant to be. And it was like, you know, little things like that. And so for me, I need to make sure I'm taking time to like settle it down and keep everything, you know, in its rightful place and be present where my feet are. And that helps me a lot. But I have struggled with that recently for sure.
Yeah, spreading yourself too thin. I mean, that'll kill you in anything. So that's a great point. Now, guys, let us know if you like this new kind of style that we're doing. If you have any topics you'd like to hear us talk about, maybe give us a controversial one so we can start yelling at each other, throwing things. I don't know, whatever you guys want to talk about. We are open books and we are literally here to help you. So, guys, every Monday at 2 p.m., we will be here filming this podcast live. So until then, stay profitable.
guys, welcome back to BluSky TV. We're very excited here with you guys on Monday for Power Hour. I am Coach Becky here with the renowned Coach Matt to talk about what we can see in the market, opportunities we might have, what we're anticipating for this week. So welcome back, everyone. Coach Matt, how are you?
Doing renowned and amazing. Just doing absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the conversation in the Blue Sky podcast, SkyCast podcast this week. Love where Justin's going with that in the conversations, and I hope that everybody gets a lot of value out of it as well. I'm doing about as good as my current trade is doing. I'm up slightly, but a little bit paranoid about it.
Yeah. Okay. I love that you said that because I'm in the same boat. It's so interesting. We were podcasting and then it started rejecting on both NQ and ES. And I see you got in on ES, I got in on MNQ, and I scaled some out at the pivot from this morning, and I'm holding some runners, but it's like it really is kind of price action today. I feel like it's been a little on the trickier side.
Yeah, you and I saw the exact same thing. It was like we've been streaming partners long enough. We got a wink, nod situation going on right now.
We didn't even know.
But I absolutely love it because I feel like we're being able to finish each other's sentences technically here, Becky. But I think we both saw the same thing. Market getting rejected, was fighting at support. I know you took the NQ, I took the ES, but market fighting support. And then what really kind of convinced me on the short, not only are you dancing that 7,500 number here, but you see this candle right here where you have that tried to pump up and just drilled that 9 EMA so clean there, Becky. I mean, it's not as clean right now because the 9 EMA gets adjusted, but that was a massive rejection. And then I was like, all right, rejection, then let's get the order in. And obviously I kind of went aggressive here with the order underneath the low point, and now just going to ride the 9. And I haven't scaled out yet. Probably should, but as of right now, I'm kind of managing this through a little bit of stop loss action, and I am in a break even point. So just going to kind of watch this one play through. But market, if there's a couple things I do expect this week, I think the number one thing I expect this week is chop and lack of sustainability. We'll have to wait and see if that actually plays out, but I kind of feel like the geopolitical conversation is going to take up the oxygen in the room up until Wednesday night. And then we get into Google, ServiceNow, a couple other very interesting reports like Tesla on Wednesday night. And then when we get to the big dog earnings this week, I think the earnings starts to take on a little bit more of an important conversation on the back half. But I do think chop and geopolitical headlines is kind of the base case as we start the week right now.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that we are getting more heated into earnings seasons. And you guys, Wednesday is kind of a big day for that because if you do look at Forex, there is nothing on there on that. But the story is earnings as a potential catalyst. Of course, there's always the unknowns that could hit at any point. But we really, the market continues. We talked about last week kind of being up and down, choppy, taking out highs and lows, but not really making a move yet. So this consolidation period is very, very interesting. And, if we could get a nice clean break, we could get some beautiful momentum in the market. But today we played both sides. There was long and shorts in this price action. It didn't quite hit targets on either side. So I just got my scale at 41 on NQ to the short side. And now we'll just have a runner. But, that's the thing is you got to take bites when you get your confirmations. And not try to be a hero until it's giving us that beautiful trending momentum.
Yeah, I just, it's one of those things that really not that abnormal at the very beginning of earnings season to see a little bit of hesitation. By the way, I thought the market had a really good kickstart to earnings season last week. Banks did what they needed to do, which means don't warn. The number one thing banks have to do in earnings season is just don't warn of anything crazy, and they didn't. You also saw banks actually have pretty good overall numbers as well. Goldman Sachs was kind of a standout there. Taiwan Semiconductor, ASML had really good earnings reports, even though they both show the continuation of the concern on the AI trade right now, which is the overall concern in the market right now. And then but in general, I do think the earnings season was a really good landscape. The macro backdrop is a pretty decent fundamental landscape. The only problem with it is the dark clouds that the geopolitical situation currently have on the market. And that's why I'm like, Most things are positive. The longer term trends and patterns are intact, but the daily chart is kind of all over the place right now. And as such, the intraday conversation is a little bit all over the place. But that's why you stare down the barrel at the 5-minute chart right now and just kind of trust that breakdown.
Yeah. I think that's when you do have to like zero into like the little bit smaller time frames and then recognize what environment you're in and how you can capitalize on the opportunity and then how you can manage your risk and what you size. There is opportunity. It's just that trade the market you're in, not the market you're hoping for or you prefer. Like you got to be real with the situation and
Mhm.
watch your time frames and see what you see.
Yeah, I would love nothing more than not have geopolitical dark clouds with escalation for 9 straight days and
Oh my God.
constant chatter on where oil's gonna go. Is it gonna go to 100, 200, or 50 or 0? Yeah, I would love nothing more than to reduce the geopolitical situation, get a clean breakout on positive earnings, and get a stinking leg in this market that puts just the bears into the pain train. I would love that. But what do I have? I have a violation of 7,500 with the daily chart, dark cloud overheads, and I
Mhm.
have to take a short in that condition. You
Yep.
trade what you see, not what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good point, Becky.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly it. Trade what you see. And today, like I think VWAP was just so violated on all sides, which to me shows that the conditions are choppy and that there's trades in both directions when we're not holding price steadily on one side or the other of that throughout the day's session. And today we really just took it out on both ends multiple times on both ES and NQ. And so in that situation, I like to respect the leg that we're in. If we're going up and we have more momentum up on the break side above it, then you can trade it that way. But if this last move here was a beautiful like retest of VWAP and then a nice close below here 40 minutes ago or so. And so for me, that was a sign that VWAP was messy and there were trades in both directions
Mhm.
and we were in the current down leg. And so that was a good confirmation for this
Yeah,
direction.
and so would you say that with the expectation, at least in the first couple trading sessions of this week, would you say your personal expectations is shorter trades on lower time frames and,
Mhm.
scaling out a little bit more aggressively, locking in profit a little bit more aggressively, just be a little bit quicker on the decision making early this week? Is that kind of what your general philosophy is right now?
Yeah, that's what I think. I think there's more up in the air, and I'm not seeing like a real beautiful clean hold at support or resistance or a nice catalyst behind it and a break with
Mm.
strength. And so, yeah, I mean, that's my strategy more times than not is to just draw my levels and trade what I see and scale in and scale out. But for holding something bigger and trying to get a home run day, I do love those days. And I gotta wait until I see those because I'm not
Well,
holding my breath that they're happening right now.
and see, that's my thing is to
Yeah.
kind of like I haven't scaled out here. That's kind of my thing is to kind of as long as the pattern is doing what I feel like it's as long as nothing is happening that doesn't often happen with inside pattern development in the first place. Like I don't do a lot of aggressive adjusting or scaling out. I like to catch trends. But for me as a guy that likes to catch trends, I just find it hard to and you never know, you got to live the price, but I find it hard in the current environment to see any sustainable trend here. Because the daily chart, quite frankly, is too choppy to exist a trend. And the weekly chart, you're not going to trend as long as the weekly chart stays inside pattern. And right now, the weekly chart is staying inside pattern.
Yeah. It's a great point. I mean, I think that's why a lot of coaches and us included, we like to say when you're looking at the chart, start from the top down. Go to the bigger time frames, the weekly, daily, and then work your way down. That way, you have an understanding of where you're at in the map, and then you can get like niche down into like what is happening right in front of me and what time opportunity do I have to take a trade. Power hour
Mhm.
is time limited, of course. Like we have to close the trade and prop funding accounts within that hour, and so then you're just like, okay, the 4 hour is the hour is blah blah blah. Now what's my opportunity? Is there an opportunity here? If not yet, what level would it be? And so that's kind of where we were at today too. I think we were streaming and we were both kind of had the charts up and we're eyeballing to see if there was going to be an opportunity. And that's when it presents. And I kind of like the well, we're West Coast. I was thinking 11 o'clock hour, but the 2 p.m. hour for East Coasters, the hour before power hour, sometimes you'll get a nice setup that takes place throughout power
Mhm.
hour. So that's been happening a little bit more lately around like 2:30 in the afternoon East Coast. There's kind of some
Well,
setup.
there was a pretty decent setup coming into power hour today. It's just a matter of does it, and you saw me adjust my stop loss right above the wicks. I just felt that was a little too close against the 9 EMA there, and I
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
love
see
that.
that 9 EMA play out. I didn't want to get stopped out on a test against the 9 EMA, and so
Mhm.
that's why I slightly adjust. I just was too aggressive in the adjusting on the low side, but yeah, there was a really good pattern in my opinion coming into power hour today.
Mhm.
It was the 7,500 breakdown here, the
Yeah.
old resistance, old support here, choppy, but I don't think you're getting clean right now. Like, I don't think you're getting perfect right now. I don't think you're getting everything you want in the market this week, at
Yeah.
least not until Wednesday.
No,
So,
I think we all love it when it comes to our level and it kisses it and it just pops and you can get in, get your fill, like get the trade and it just moves beautifully. That has been something that's been kind of irritating over the last week because I feel like I've had good trades and there's been so much hesitation and sluggishness and obnoxiousness and stop taking and then it will take off and it's like, ugh. Those days
well,
are like you have to have some stamina and you have to really let it go. And you just sat through chop, or maybe you took a little stop out and then it actually worked out. Like that has been, I feel like that's a little bit more often lately. I don't know if everyone else has that experience, but it's been kind of obnoxious.
it has been a little, like, obnoxious. That is accurate.
Yeah.
Who here has been frustrated with chop the last week?
Right. Anybody else?
Me?
Just us, just me.
Who here got kicked out of a great trade due to chop last week? This guy.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the name of the
You gotta
game.
adjust the environment, though. Like, I wanna break out more than anything, but you gotta adjust to the environment right now.
And I think that's a nod to like trading a little bit smaller. That way you can give a little bit more room sometime at your levels if it's being kind of choppy like this, but you have a good read on the direction and the momentum on this, like this short was a good play, but like I got into this short twice. I got into it on NQ. It was hesitating and it started breaking down. We pull up NQ really quick. It
Yeah, of
was
course.
for our time, it was at 10:35, so 1:35 Eastern. But it was like got up underneath view up, and then it hesitated for a long time, and it looked like it was failing. And so I got in there, and it was stopped out because it was too soon.
I like your Q trade here.
And it's good.
I'll be targeting 70, by the way, if
I
I
like
was in
that.
that. I do
Yeah,
like that NQ trade. That's riding the 9 EMA, by the way.
I know it's beautiful. It broke
By the
down
way,
so
another
nice.
thing, kind of adjusting as we're talking about adjusting to the space here. Um, like, you know me, I love the 15-minute time frame, right? I
Yeah,
haven't been able to use the 15-minute time frame in the last week. Like, it has not been a viable time frame in the last week.
yeah,
And when the 15-minute time frame is not a viable time frame, it means we're dealing with too much chop.
tight. It's tight. Yep.
Definitely seeing the continuation of the sell-off here, though.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
time to adjust. We're being aggressive here on the adjustment, by the way.
I love that. I got my scale
Oh,
at 840, and now I just have a runner open. So I like the 760 760 on NQ.
man, that might go sniff my target down there. I might have to be I might be like, "Ooh, I don't wanna sell
Yeah.
out."
Yeah, short is definitely the trade for the last half of the day today. I mean, we saw a push up early, and then the Bears had to have held it. They had a good push against the first rally of open, and then they tried to the Bulls tried, and they made a solid lower high. And so this closing under VWAP, getting under VWAP, consolidating and breaking again. That was a good look for the next leg down after that. It couldn't get higher on the day earlier. So
Man, that 9 EMA caught up way fast on that candle right there. That 9 EMA was a good 3 points above. Now it's my stop loss is actually underneath above the 9 EMA here. That's how big that candle was right there.
yeah, that was a sink. Because there was hesitation there. It was pausing for a minute to see if if the Bulls could hold it, and they couldn't. So then the flush of sells chasing and then stops getting popped of people trying to buy there. That was a nice flush there. Nice continuation there. Now I have another little pause. After
They're
those
about
big moves,
scaled
there's
out there
pauses.
off that. 'Cause big red candle, I don't know about you, but I always assume we're gonna get a pause candle the next candle.
I totally do.
Always
Mhm.
to because those shorter traders and be like, nope, lock in profit there.
Yes.
Lock in profit.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, it doesn't surprise me we're getting a little bit of slowing momentum candle off that dump, but that's a good breakdown candle.
If there's continuation, the only thing that has to hold is the engulfing, the big one. And then there's oftentimes there is, like we just saw, 20 minutes ago, we saw the pause, the profit taking, but then continuation continued. So we're still in the downtrend.
Yeah. Since we're in a short here, Becky, I don't want to say anything about the bulls, but I'll just say this. I haven't seen the bulls for a minute.
No, it's been bearish since this is the third day, right? Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
It's been 3 days now. I mean, they showed up a little bit on the overnight session last night, but the overnight session on a Sunday in front of 0 economic reports that week and major earnings, that's not a... No. Wyckoff talked about real moves versus fake moves. That would be one of the fake moves.
Yeah, they just put a wick on the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But man, it's looking good. By the way, it's just that geopolitical overhead is real. It's real right now. And again, 9 days of escalation. Yeah. Hopefully we get positive resolution. But we also lost 3 service people over the weekend. Very sad. My hearts and prayers go out to those families.
Agreed. Yeah, those are big losses.
Yeah, very sad.
It would be great if they could figure out some resolution on this and move us forward, because there's a lot of lives impacted by this conversation. And can we all just get along? Let's find some diplomacy.
Not a lot of positivity, I would say, happening right now.
Yeah.
And that might be what the market's saying the last 3 days, Becky. And I know it was there on Friday coming into the close. Like for the last 2 hours, I was just like, the buyers are just saying we are not carrying anything going into the weekend here.
Yeah.
And that's what my read on that Friday candle was just the buyers saying, nope, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done for the week. We're not going to hold through coming into the weekend. And then obviously there's been some chatter today regarding a potential ceasefire. The U.S. sent a proposal to Iran on a 10-day ceasefire. And that's why a little bit of the market was going up in the morning session. Iran said no to those talks. And they actually are telling the Houthis to maybe even shut down some more waterways out there. So we're seeing escalation. Hopefully a positive resolution happens here. But
yeah,
I personally think we're going to be talking about the Iranian conflict in some capacity for the next year.
Oh, I hope you're wrong, but I don't.
I also don't think it will be a market story for the year. I remember when the Ukrainian conflict started and Russian tanks were on European soil for the first time in 22. And I remember that being the epicenter of every single conversation for about a month and a half until the market's like, this is an ongoing situation. Let's price it into the models and let's just move forward.
Yeah.
And that will happen. But and when we had the ceasefire the last time, it did happen. The market started breathing, started trending. But now we're into that 9-day escalation. How far is this going to go? Is it going to see more escalation down over the next week or so? Obviously, the market's a little bit concerned, and I think rightly so.
Yeah, I remember that as well. That's interesting you said that, because that was just right around a year that I had started trading and the Ukrainian war broke out, and I had no concept of what that would mean. And I thought the market was going to fall to the bottom of hell. I just was like, how can we possibly buy? How can there be a buying day when there's all these things, borders being crossed, there's bombs and tanks? And it was a real introduction to the fact that massive things can happen like that for humanity and for the world. And the way that the market reacts is not logical for a non-trader. It didn't make sense to me for a long time, and I was so decoupled and disorganized with it. But then I learned a lot in hindsight from it as it settled out, and the war was continuing for a long time, and the market just kind of settled back to another pattern where earnings were having more weight again, and the Forex calendar events were having more weight again, and things would happen in Ukraine and Russia, and it wouldn't cause that big of a move on the market. And so that was a very interesting growth period for me, and I feel like we are experiencing something very similar to that as well.
Markets are very, very, very good at adapting to situations long term.
Mm.
Simply because there's a war happening in the world, which there's always a war happening in the world, doesn't mean there's not economic activity. In fact, a lot of people believe that war is ultimately bullish for the financial markets. It's the initial shock in how the market prices in these things moving forward.
Mhm.
Because the Iranian conflict has a direct impact on oil, there is a sizable conversation regarding the impact economically and on the market. Because the Ukrainian conflict had a sizable impact on oil and on grains, because Ukraine is a massive exporter of grains, that had a impact. But once the market gets efficient on the pricing of the event, it does move on. The problem here is we constantly get new updates every other day. And that creates a very difficult thing for the market to price in the ultimate risk here. And to me, I personally think the market's mispricing in crude oil, quite frankly. But it's just a difficult thing for the market to price in. Whereas the Ukrainian conflict, like you were pretty certain within a good month of that conflict that this was something that was a long-term situation that was not going to get adjusted. And once that occurred, the choppiness, the volatility subsided, and earnings became the overall storyline. I do believe that happens here too, by the way. I believe that over the next week and a half, we'll most likely be talking far more about earnings than we will about the geopolitical side of the equation, because once stocks report earnings, that always becomes the number one storyline, because that's ultimately what drives overall price action is EPS growth or EPS contraction.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I didn't realize that when I was an early trader, and I'm learning all the time about what is actually underlying the driving momentum of the markets. And like right now, ES and Q are slightly different. Like their days are similar, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, and today are similar in appearance. However, ES is stronger, and Q just broke a big, support on Friday, and now we're back at that level again. But ES is, quite a bit above that.
Nasty
And so,
breakdown level on the NASDAQ too, by the way. That's an
yeah,
M formation on the daily chart on the NASDAQ. That is not a good look on the NASDAQ. And
it's
that's
a
the
beat,
epicenter.
right?
That's the biggest problem with the market. It like the Iranian conflict caps out cyclical performance. You can only go up so much. You have a cap on cyclical performance with the Iranian. But the Iranian conflict has very little to do with the AI trade. Very little. And the number one problem in the market right now is the AI trade, not cyclicals. It's the AI trade. The AI trade has not been good recently. And so once, like, let's say hypothetically, Google comes out later on this week on Wednesday, beats EPS by 18%, revenue growth up 32%, Google Cloud's up 40%, and guidance is raised by 6%. You want to know what we're going to be talking about on Thursday? Even if there is escalation on Wednesday night, Google's earnings. I
Yeah,
guarantee you. I
yeah,
guarantee you, because that is the truth of the market. And I agree with what Blake said. I think I agree with that 100%. The market acting like a spoiled baby every now and then it just moves on like a baby. I agree with what Blake said 100%. By the way, a
yeah,
very interesting test of resistance on this 5-minute chart here.
yeah. My stop is above the 5 of 10 minutes ago, like 2 ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, when you see me trailing stop losses against the 9 EMA on the 5-minute chart, that should tell you everything you need to know about what I personally think about the environment, because I love trailing stop losses on the 15-minute time frame. But
Yeah.
I just kind of feel we're more level to level right now,
Mhm.
being a little bit more aggressive. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I want to see this play out here, and I want to see if that 9 EMA catches, but
It's not a big momentum day though. Like you're trading the conditions that you're in, like we talked about. The moves have been a chunk of space and then they have been countered. And so
mhm.
we gotta like be careful. You
Well,
don't want to
look
see
on
green
this
under red.
breakdown here. We got a 1 candle breakdown before consolidation, Becky. Look at this candle here. We got not a 1 minute, but a 1 candle breakdown before consolidation. We got a 1 candle breakdown before secondary pattern form. We're not seeing momentum, because
Mm-mm.
momentum begets more momentum.
Yeah.
We're seeing fade is what we're seeing.
Yes. Yeah. a drift. It's more like a drift. I like that term in the market. When she's drifting, you got to treat it as such. And that's when I'm more so like I want to scale. So I'm one of the annoying ones that causes that pause because that's where I'll scale.
Well, and Ford, yeah, obviously I agree with you, but and this has nothing to do with the Israeli-Palestinian situation. The reason that's not a market story is because it doesn't have any impact on any economic or earnings situation. It's a human interest story, and it's a very powerful one. And I guarantee you and I would agree more than disagree on that one, but it's not a market story. That's why we don't talk about it. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's not sad or not depressing, not a human interest story, like none of that. It's just not a market story. And we're in a market stream.
Yeah. We are absolutely insulated and protected and have so much to be grateful for to live in this country and to have that sort of protection around us. Like it's such a blessing to be here. And I think that everyone I've ever encountered at BluSky has had that same sentiment too of like, gosh, we're so grateful for the opportunity to trade and the safety that we get to have and the high-speed internet. And like, it's just wild that the opportunity we get to have. And talking about technicals, like that's when you have to, it's like two separate parts of your brain, like the heartfelt, like I really pray for all of the families that are impacted by this. And I hope that it resolves and they can find some sense of peace. And then when you put on your trader hat, it's like, what is going to move the candles today? Because I need to just hope the best for this situation and take care of my family. But then right now, what is going to move the price? And so that's kind of when we're doing the streams. Sometimes we do lock into more technicals because it's about, during the power hour, during the trading sessions, it's about what potential areas are going to react and what's going to be the catalyst for them. And so, it shifts all the time, but I do think that Google does, earnings are a big deal for price movement. And so we want to make sure that's on our radar, even though there's bigger things going on.
Like it's a point well made, Ford. Like I totally understand what you're talking about. I completely understand the insulated point. But the reality is the markets, like there's human interest stories, there's market stories. And sometimes it's difficult to be able to determine which one of those which human interest stories have the ability to also come into the market. The reality is it's the ones that impact commodities on a geopolitical side. If it doesn't impact commodities or currency, the market just discounts it.
Yeah. Or gives it a moment and then
Doesn't mean
continues
it's
on.
not life-changing, vital, important. Like all of those things are absolutely yes.
I think the point too is that what we're trading is the NQ or the S&P 500, which is a basket of companies. And so you have to also, think about what exactly are we trading? Are you trading oil? Because then that's a different sort of a news feed and a geopolitical situation you'd follow. But if you're trading a basket of companies, you have to be looped into what those companies are doing. And are they involved in the bigger picture or are they involved in something that's going on with them? And what percentage are they of the indice that you're trading? And so hence the fact that they'll have it, right?
ES is 3%. Like that's the impact of oil and the energy space on the ES is 3%. Now the secondary impact is about 45%, but the primary impact of the ES is the same as the NQ, which is the 30% allocation in semiconductors.
Mm-hmm. And AI is a big deal out there that's pulling all this attention and money and growth.
I officially got stopped out.
Yeah, real close to mine, but I only had one micro left, so I gave it. It's not quite there. I'm at 880. But I scaled out 75% of my position.
Becky, if there's one thing we can all agree on, I think we can all agree on we would like to see resolution to these geopolitical situations and not escalation.
Yeah, 100%.
Market, human, doesn't matter. I think we would all rather see resolution and discussing than more bombs dropping.
Completely. I think we could have so much more peace in our lives and our hearts and our energy that when we think about those things that cause those emotions in nearly all humans. And the market then also would stabilize, and it could be more driven by the fundamentals underlying, economics and the growth of this country and the companies and the financials. It would be great for all the reasons.
Speaking of growth, blended growth, EPS blended growth, the number one number that I track in earnings season is EPS blended growth.
Yes.
That it went from 23.2 to 24.4 this week. Big improvement in the first week of earnings season.
Wow, that's exciting. Growing.
I agree with what you just said, Ford. Let's get Fusion. Let's get Neil deGrasse Tyson on this. Let's all get on Star Talk and let's have that conversation on there, because that would cure a lot of ills there, brother.
Yeah, it's a very complex situation.
We're a few decades away from that one, but
there's been war since humans existed. Like think about the tribes in the caveman years. I mean, there was fights over territory and food sources, and there's a lot of human nature in the competition and the battle and the top dog dominance and the ego. It is absolutely a part of human nature. And so to think that there will be resolution eternally, this is just the wave that we're in of it.
Not until we have the Star Trekian food processor will we get away with no wars.
But honestly, they'll start fighting over something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we are humans.
Yeah.
We do like to disagree.
Yeah. Yeah. Money, honey, and honestly, ego. Like you think about some of the people with like the most money, at some point it's not about money. Like they don't need another vacation. It's power. Power and control.
It's a made up philosophy. It's not about money.
Yeah.
Commodities at one point were the thing that people fought over. Commodities have been the thing that has always created conflict in our world. It always will be commodities and not currency.
Yeah.
But commodities and currency, it's currency because we're living in a 50-year-old phase 3 cycle of our currency history. And so currency dominates our mind. But before we lived in fiat currencies were tied to commodities, which means it was the commodity that was sought under. The Chinese yuan, for example, was the first currency in the history of our world. That currency died when China went through a copper shortage. It was copper the issue, not the Chinese yuan.
I think we should send Trump to get in a fist fight. I think that is a solid plan.
Like Troy, like the opening scene of Troy, that one that with the fight in Troy, where the big dude and Brad Pitt line it up. Yeah. Who's our Brad Pitt though? Like Brad Pitt's 62 now. We can't send Brad Pitt. Who's our Brad Pitt right now? Who's gonna line up and fight the barbarian horde for us?
Dude, who would it be? I only know the old dudes. John Cena. Okay, I have to tell you for a really quick second.
Let's get the wrestler.
Okay, my kids are outrageous. Okay, so
that's funny.
30 seconds. I have 3 boys, 13, 8, and 4, and they are ridiculous on the trampoline. They'll be like, John Cena, and they'll jump on each other. I'm like, oh, God.
I like John Cena.
Don't break anyone. I don't have time for the emergency room.
Nick, we're not going to allow Tom Cruise hate.
No, he's a no-go. Yeah, I don't think that's the guy.
We're not going to sign him up to go face the barbarian horde, but no, we're not going to. We're no Tom Cruise hate.
John Cena would be interesting. It's funny. Okay, are we getting back to VWAP? So let's look at this price action. We did some legs down. We poked some targets, and now we're pushing up in a rotational
I'm thinking
day.
more bull here. I'm thinking more bull.
Yeah, I'm thinking the move right now is bull to the close. Can we get in? I don't know.
I kind of want to see how it behaves at 75.
Right here is a very interesting point, because it could reject at this consolidation from half an hour ago and do one more leg down, or it could bounce off this, come back and do a higher low and hold. We have 15 minutes till imbalances, so could do a setup.
Oh, we got plenty of time to get a setup here.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering.
I think the bears, like if you're the bear, you're looking at this level and playing that range and just saying
right now,
which I definitely understand it. There's a lot of wicks right here. You go right underneath the 9 EMA because you definitely don't want to fight that 9 EMA. But I just 10 points here, maybe. I kind of like the bull back to VWAP
Yeah.
here.
I do too. I'm really curious. I think I'm not going to engage in the next leg
I'm
of a
ready
short
now.
because this was a pretty strong bullish push.
But you gave up the
I'm
90
wondering if I
MA
might
for the
hold.
first time in that move that we had over the last hour and a half. So I kind of want to see
Yeah. So there's some
this
fight
level
back.
right here at 95, and then you got this little 5-point range. This is where I want to see that development, is in this range right here. And then I
Yeah.
will play from 75 back up to VWAP here. That's kind of
Yeah,
that's kind
I
of
like
the
that.
idea here.
Yeah. I think on NQ it needs to get above 900 is would be a clean break of structure. But if it rejects here and holds the lows, I could
Team,
also
while we
be
watch this
interested.
one play out, I'm very genuinely interested. If we had to send one person to stand up like our Brad Pitt in Troy to end any future war, who would that one person be? Like, I want to know. Like, generally, give this some thought. We got like 10 minutes to watch this pattern play out for a second. So, give me your one name that would be your Brad Pitt in Troy to stand up, America, one man fight it out, end all war type thing. Who would that be? We got Nick wants Tom Cruise. Ford wants John Cena. I want some more answers out there. I don't think we have the answer yet.
No, I don't think I have
we
the
have it
answer yet
yet.
either. I think Brad Pitt is on the older side and Matt Damon is on the older side. Although they're holding up real well. Mark Wahlberg is the same camp. He's on the older side now too. What about Ryan Reynolds?
I'm not
Is he too
sending
funny?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch to stand up against a barbarian
Marky
horde
Mark.
or meet the aliens. It's not happening. Marky
No, it
Mark
can't
is
be him.
not going. Glenn
No,
Powell.
it's not him.
Well, in real life, we'd have a different conversation there.
Jocko Willett. Ooh, Adam.
Henry
That's a good one,
Cavill, that's a
Jocko.
good one too. We could send Superman.
Okay, we're getting closer. I like those.
Glenn Powell,
ones.
he's an up and comer.
Well,
He's like if you wanted to choose Tom Cruise when he was young. It's kind of the Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Okay, so Ford is asking about if it's all time. So I guess if you could freeze frame someone, Jason Momoa.
If
Oh,
I
that's
had
a
to
good
freeze
one.
frame somebody in American history,
Anybody, yeah.
General Patton when he was younger.
You're a history
General
buff.
Patton. He'd yell at, he'd scream so loud, spit was coming, and spit would be his weapons of choice. It would just be yelling at the barbarian horde, just spitting everywhere. That would be our weapon of choice. There's
Mike
Mike Tyson. Only if we wanted it, only if it was Evander Holyfield on the other side and we wanted him to bite off his ear.
Tyson, I thought, yeah.
We can't trust Mike Tyson that much.
Yeah.
Although
there might be some drugs involved in that.
All it would take is one of his punches.
That's a good point. Elon is an interesting thought, Mary. I think the physical part of it might not work out. He doesn't strike me as like the.
Listen, you do not send Elon to the front of the line. What are we talking about?
I don't. Yeah, I think he's.
We need to keep the tech genius in the back of the line. He builds rockets for us. I'll give you one.
Yeah,
Colonel Winters, World War II. Colonel Winters from what's the show? Colonel Winters. The book was by Band of Brothers by Stephen Ambrose. By the way, if you're ever into like history World War II books, Stephen Ambrose is one of the best authors of all time for that. We're definitely not sending Barbie, but we'll send Ken. Barbie's too integral to the makeup of the DNA of America at this point.
Ken would get us killed.
Adam, if you haven't read the book, it's an easy read, and I strongly recommend the book. Love the series, love the story. But
wait, tell me the book. Tell me again the book.
It's called Band of Brothers by Stephen Ambrose.
Okay.
That was the book that inspired the TV series out of HBO, Band of Brothers, which if you've never seen that, strongly recommend.
Okay. Take notes.
It's so good, Becky. Like, so good. And Colonel Winters, you'll love him.
Okay, nice.
Adam, I was totally joking with Ryan Gosling with Ken, but yes, we'll send him as the tester. Yeah, I thought Pacific was good too, just not on the level of Band, but I did think it was good. I thought Masters of Air was also good. I honestly thought Masters of Air was slightly better than the Pacific. But by the way, here's your first candle. If you're looking at the bowl here, guys, this is your first candle that you really kind of like the development here.
Yep.
You see the rounding story. The 9 EMA is now smiling. We always like a smiling 9 here. And then you got that first clean test against the 9 EMA and you're trying to break. Aggressive traders, this is what I was talking about in the pod where I'm like, okay, if I front run this, I can maximize my entry versus stop. And I don't mind it here. But if you wait for confirmation, which is the close, you can structure that on the candle. And so here's your first test. This is your second test at 75. This is the one I'm looking at. But this is, this is a good development so far on that potential bull trade there.
Yeah, I think we're pushing up. I think view up is a really strong target for close today. This last retest was a good little attempt, and the NQ last 5 minutes has a tiny bit of bearish in it, but was strong, and ES was even stronger. So
yeah,
I'm gonna put a little bit on MNQ and see.
Yeah, Masters of Air and Pacific are good, but they don't deserve to be in the same sentence as Band of Brothers. Like Band of Brothers is legitimately, truly one of the best stories ever told out of World War II. It's amazing. Tells the story of Easy Company, the airborne company that landed out behind enemy lines in on D-Day. It's such an amazing story. See, that's why front running can go bad sometimes.
Yeah. It's going to tag it first and then test and then see who can hold.
Really hard to get that first test out of the way, especially when like you don't have a momentum environment.
Yeah.
Wait on a close, especially when you got an upper level up here that you have a stronger opinion on. Let's let it close there.
Yeah. Let the Bears defend a little bit.
So that's if we want to send somebody out just to test the enemy's strength there, Ford.
I mean, test a little.
Colonel Sobel is played by what's his name? David Schwimmer. What's the guy from Friends?
Oh yeah. Ross.
He plays it great. Ross plays it great. He does, but he's such a dislikable man. Such a dislikable man. Oh, when they're cutting the wire and they're yelling at him, and then he thinks, yeah, it's pretty good.
Look, I need to get on your level with these shows, man.
Band of Brothers.
That's the one.
It's if you haven't seen it, yeah, it's good.
Okay. Cool.
By the way, chock full of famous actors today, but when they were there, all up and coming younger actors. It's yearly viewing every year, Ford, every year. Every year I'll stream Band of Brothers.
How long of a series is it? It must not be forever then.
10 episodes.
Okay.
Just one season, 10 episodes.
Repeatable.
Not one of those stories that tells post World War II. It's from D-Day to taking Berlin. Very historically accurate too. Extremely historically accurate.
That's good.
Come on, give us this 5-minute close going into imbalances. Let's do this.
I know, push it. I just put on the rest of my position right when that last 5-minute close and held. So now I'm in.
You in?
The long. I'm in, yeah.
Not in yet. And I'm definitely not going to do a standard.
Yeah. We'll see what it does. Imbalances in 5 minutes. So it might just walk around here until, and then it will decide one or the other.
If it closes above the level here, like I'll definitely consider it. But
Yeah.
like I said in the pod, like one of the things that I'm really going to try to do this week is wait on confirmation.
Yeah. That was such a good example to set for all of us. It was a really good point.
The data stood out to me like a sore
Yeah.
thumb. Like I already knew it because you already know it as you do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
but when I actually looked at the data, I was just like, oh,
How about a
it
hive?
was worse than I thought.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'd love to front run. I think every trader loves to front run. But it was just front running these choppy conditions has not been great.
Yeah. Well, it's higher risk, you know. What I love about waiting for confirmations is that generally the trade happens much faster, and so that's why I try to wait oftentimes for all my confirmations. We're getting in this power hour that's tricky because in the morning I feel like there's more wiggle room to wait for confirmations because it does more moving and more setting up,
You have
and
to
then
be,
there's
you have to
time.
be more aggressive here and maybe even get off the 5 and go to like a 3.
Yeah,
Like here, you could probably go above these highs here.
yeah,
But you're right. Like when you got 2 hours left in the session, it's extremely easy to say, just wait on the 5-minute close. When your
yeah,
5-minute close literally goes into imbalances, it's a
yeah,
little bit different. It's honestly, it's gonna be tough for me to get this trade.
yeah. I'm always about out of time, so I just need to try for a little bit here. See what she does.
Last week, I would front run. This week, I'm being patient.
Good job. We'll see what it does.
I would say you can teach somebody new tricks. I'm like, confirmation's not a new trick.
Yeah.
It's a very old trick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been proven time and time again.
But it's a lesson that I have had to learn many times in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not the first time that the market has taught me a valuable lesson to be a little more patient, wait on confirmation.
Yeah. It's good. Market will remind us.
It's really battling right there.
Yeah, it really is. We're gonna see what she does. In the pod earlier, do you both have jobs or it was either trading or your day job? I feel like it's working from home folks have a huge leg up. That's a great question, Adam. I am a nurse and I was down to part-time. And when I started learning about trading, just like be home more. And so then I was like in that beautiful middle ground of like, I have a stable job, but I was only doing part-time. And then you have less childcare expenses. So it worked out for us financially. And so for me, I still am a nurse. Like I worked on Friday and Sunday at the hospital. And so I like keeping that because honestly, it's a break from trading. It allows my brain time to reset, think about something else, use a different part of my intellect and my friends. And so that has actually, I think, helped stabilize me through trading to have that, but part-time so that I can devote the time to learning, studying, back testing, trading. So I think it's been nice. I think when you do work from home, there's a different freedom with that too. So that can be a really good opportunity because you're still working. And so then you're getting paid from your day job, but you have the opportunity to watch the charts without someone standing over you. So I think having something on the side, no matter what that looks like, either part-time out of the home office or working from home helps a lot because then you can switch gears if you need to. Like if you hit your max amount of trades or what have you, or the market conditions aren't good, you can do something else with time that's productive and financially beneficial. I think that's stabilizing in this role.
Yeah, I believe in multiple streams of income in every capacity. I don't have what you would call a day job, but I do have other businesses that I focus on as well.
Mhm. Yeah, you have other work that it brings in streams that it's not just day trading.
Well, and trading is amazing. I highly recommend it for absolutely everybody. Anybody that watched the pod knows my answer on that question on the demographic, but you it can't it shouldn't be the only thing. It there's too much ups and downs. There's too much time, too many things to do in your life. Have other things. Trading is one of those things you do. But I would definitely say, Adam, yes, working from home definitely gets a leg up on the day trading side of the equation. Absolutely.
Came in on the short side by the look of things. That's that.
Yeah, it does
See.
look like they one test low.
Yeah,
Like,
she's sliding
It,
down.
it had to develop perfect for me to actually get that confirmation. You made a wonderful point, just running out of time.
Yeah.
So
You
let's
never
look.
know. It was
Are you still
hesitating to
in the
break that.
NQ?
Huh?
You still in the NQ?
Nah.
You're out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Both
I
flat?
kept it tight. Yeah.
Flat going into the last 9 minutes, and I highly doubt we're going to see something in the last 9 minutes here, Becky.
Yeah. She got sideways there. She tried to hold. She got back up. She's rejecting now. Could make a new lower low, but I don't.
Let's spot check gold.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we haven't talked about gold today. Let's like do a little rundown of what we're seeing.
That's copper. There we go, gold. Gold is doing the eternal battle at 4K. Like, it just doesn't want to budget, wants to hang out and say hello, and it just is always the eternal battle at 4K. Bears have an edge going into the battle. You got to give the buyers a lot of credit right now for putting up the fight. I wish I felt more comfortable to fight with those buyers, but I don't. I see the edge to the downside here. And ultimately, this is an if A, then B. But if A, we do see the violation ultimately at 4K. This level right here at 3,500 is so massive. Like on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, if you don't own gold, that is a level that buyers will defend. As a buyer of gold and as a lover of all things gold, I'm not defending 4K. I will defend 35K.
Yeah.
Just a massive, massive important level down there. And ultimately, I don't know how the gold story ends up, but it would not shock me to see that end up down to 35. And so it's battling right now, the 4K. You look at this on an hourly chart, you see that 4K, it's just up and down, 4K right here, battling 4K over there, battling 4K right here. Just constant battle at the 4K level, but also constantly losing any resistance challenge too. Resistance constantly pushing down, 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 down on gold. Ultimately, that's going to be very, very interesting. Crude oil starting to pump up, obviously, we're going through a lot of escalation over the course of the last 9 trading sessions. Meaning we have seen literally bombs be dropped over the last 9 trading sessions, and over the last 9 trading sessions, oil's up, 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 up. Now you're fighting at some pretty important levels right around the 81.5 to 82 level. Starting to get above some very important levels of resistance. That's a concern for the entire market, I would say, not just ES and Q, but obviously the general market as a whole. But
Yeah.
right now, ES still stuck in triangles.
Yeah. Everything just looks weak. Like across a lot of the indices. Yeah. The Dow also pretty short today. All day, just kind of slide down.
That's the real cap on the cyclical areas, and that's where you're really seeing the impact on crude oil.
Yeah.
Everything's down today and everything's down on Friday, but it's the cap that is on the Dow. See, the market was still in multiple time frame breakout and still generally is, but the last couple of days is putting some weakness into that. Well, the reason is not because AI trade's bad. AI trade's been bad for a month and a half. The reason is Russell 2000, Dow Jones, RSP, all indexes that reflect the cyclical areas have now started to turn around because those are very sensitive crude oil conversations. And so it lost its quantitative easing edge, I'll say. But these things can change very quickly.
Yeah. It's true. Sometimes like the hardest falls cause like a really beautiful rebound too. Like if something just looks like it's just weak, 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 everything's sliding. Sometimes that really is the setup. So you just have to be patient and let it develop and then give it time and see what you can see. You know, like it doesn't mean necessarily that the direction that you're in is going to continue for all the days to the downside, you know, especially. I mean, this moment we're crashing down to the bottom. Gonna maybe make a no wick day at this move. Like, look at how it's just sinking still.
Yeah, it's at the low point.
Mm-hmm. We don't see a ton of no wick days, but there's only 5 minutes left. I think NQ is at the low. ES is just a tiny bit above it, but gold has like really just danced around VWAP this whole midday here today too. It's even tighter. It's even tighter than the rest.
And VWAP's even with the move down, just kind of flat all day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens when you go from pump breakout to sell off break support in one day.
Yeah.
And tough trading day for the bulls.
Yeah. No kidding. Especially that first pump. I wonder who got hosed there.
Every bull that was trading in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe not every bull in the first 15, but man, that's a good breakout right there. Overextended for my liking, but a lot of traders trading that breakout. I can guarantee at the 75.40 level.
Yeah.
That thing got stuffed.
Yeah, bad. Very interesting what we see the rest of this week, like we're having a bearish start. Sometimes will be just a little bit of misdirection, and then the week can continue, especially with like we talked about how the heart of the week is some earnings that could come in really positively. This could be, not necessarily that this is an indication that we're having a bearish week, but it could just be the start push away.
Ace isn't here, but I guarantee what Ace would say is this. Sell it off as far as you can going into Google earnings. I guarantee that's what Ace would say. It'd be like, just dump it all. Dump it all going into Google earnings. Just dump it all. Dump it all.
Yeah.
Get the lowest price possible going into Google earnings. But I don't think we've seen anything real yet in the market. Like I don't feel like today is a real day in the market. There was no news. There was nothing that changed on anything. We haven't seen any information come into the market to shift anything yet.
Yeah.
That really starts either with alleviation events on the geopolitical side, if they start talking about a potential ceasefire and getting back at the negotiation table, and on the economic side, we don't have any economic reports this week that are major, which means it's the next earnings conversation is Wednesday night. That is like a major, like we get a lot of big time names tomorrow. For example, tomorrow morning, like the biggest report tomorrow morning is Ally Financial, Halliburton, DH Horton, 3M, GM, like really important names, but I wouldn't say catalyst names. Tomorrow night, for example, on Tuesday night, we get Alaska Airlines is one of the big dogs tomorrow. Range Resources. I'm willing to bet 98% of people that trade the financial world can't even tell you what Range Resources does. And yet they're one of the bigger names reporting on Tuesday. And so Monday and Tuesday's reports just are not market moving reports. On Wednesday morning, you get Gia Verona, which is an important name, but it's really Wednesday night with Tesla, Google, ServiceNow, IBM, Texas Instruments. Those are really big time names that can drive the conversation. And I say can because Taiwan Semiconductor and ASML and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs certainly could have drove that conversation last week. And they had great reports, but they didn't drive anything last week. Like market's still obviously hesitating and waiting on something. And I made a statement last week. I'll make it again today. If it wasn't for the escalation in the Middle East that we're currently dealing with right now, this market would already be breaking out on against the longer term time frame. So I have a positive opinion about the market. I'm just kind of maybe waiting, wishing, hoping, speculating that we get some alleviation events this week. Just let's get some alleviation events this week. We don't need to see escalation of war.
Yes, please. I think that is a good hope and desire for the week, and the technicals it can fit. So we'll see what happens the rest of this week. It's been an interesting start to the week, and I'm thankful to be here with you all, Blue Sky, and we've got some awesome plans available for you at the website. So check it out. And thank you, Matt, for all of your wisdom and streaming. It's been a great day.
Yeah, fun day. Fun day. We cut that short, even though we dealt with about a ton of chop in Power Hour. We still got that short coming into it. All right, team. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. We'll be back same time tomorrow. But before that, we get the amazing Coach Becky with her psychology lab. Last week was off the hook, amazing. Tomorrow's going to be great as well, team. So, Coach Becky, right the hour before Power Hour, I'll join you in Power Hour. We'll have a fantastic conversation tomorrow as well. For all of us at Blue Sky, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Sounds good. Take care.